You see, here's the thing. I'm the kind of guy, when somebody says something that displeases me, I hold on to that for quite a while. I've mentioned many times in the past all the little things that people have said. I've mentioned that girl who called me out one time on a corner for using the word emasculated incorrectly. And I still know, I mean, I keep tabs on her on Facebook just to see if things are going a little bit wrong. That's how long I hold on to things that really bother me. So when everybody told me last year to stick to hockey, I had to then stick it. It's going to be a 5th winning week out of 6 in the most difficult of the sports to bet, the NFL, which is the most cutthroat competitive. So you guys said that, and like Michael Jordan said, I took that personally. Sometimes I need to create these rivalries in my head to get the best out of me, and I think that's where we've been this NFL season. If you caught a Dave and a Dan, I talked about some of those plays ranging from the Kamara rushing under to my favorite one, which was the Higgins over. We had that Bucky Irving over, even if you missed out on the early number and you took it at over 60.5. So a lot of good once again here in week 6, and we're going to look to end it with a quality Monday Night Football slate, along with our daily NHL picks. You think I'm doing 2 videos? I'm not signing off just to sign back on, do a second video. You're getting NFL, NHL, the only 2 sports I give a rat's ass about. So here we go. We got Jets, Bills, Jets firing their coach, and then demoting Nathaniel Hackett, and now I guess he's just in an office filling out generic paperwork. And they're taking on the Bills. Bills have lost a couple in a row. This makes for a very interesting matchup because this win or loss is going to say a lot about both of these teams. Because if you're the Jets, all of a sudden you're staring down 2-4, and very frequently when I talk about these Jets, I'm like, don't panic. It's not that big a deal. That Bucks-Brady team was awful halfway through. They were like 7-5. They lost an embarrassing Thursday night football game. Brady didn't know what down it was. But if you go 2-4, see, they were never 2-4 over there. They got some ugly wins in there early and then ironed it out later. You can't be going 2-4, losing at home on a Monday night against these Bills who are running into some troubles of their own. So very fascinating matchup. And when it comes to this matchup, I'm going to play some of the classics, because if the classics continue to show me appetizing numbers, you know what's funny? Football is a very hard sport to bet. But if you entice me, you keep enticing me with a low T. Higgins yesterday, and you keep enticing me with a low Zay Flowers yesterday, it makes it seem so much easier. Buy depreciated assets, sell appreciated assets. Not too difficult, and we see more of these once again. Who's the big guy struggle? Who's the guy, oh my God, you drafted him top 5, now he's splitting work with Braylon Allen? Breece Hall. Breece Hall, he's struggled recently. People claim he's always looking for the home runs, not taking what's there. Well, whether he hits a home run, doesn't hit a home run, I'm taking him to hit his over. I'm thinking this is a game that Breece Hall gets right at home. Monday Night Football. Last week they got Garrett Wilson on track, which I said we got to take that number. And this is the week Breece Hall gets back on track, in my opinion. We shall see. But still, that doesn't mean I'm not going back to Garrett Wilson. I understand Bills have had some great games in the secondary. They've shut down some receivers. But I also saw Nico Collins absolutely going off on them before he had to exit that game. So I don't think this is some Patrick Surtain type situation. So I'm going to go with that over 58.5 for Garrett Wilson. I just found on Caesars, and that is an appetizing price for old Andy.
God damn it, let's do it again.
And another classic I was about to play, but I was like, you know what? You know who kind of just shifted me off it a little bit? Outlier, which kind of shows things to me. It worked out for us big time on Thursday night with some of those Purdy props. And then I was like, you know what? I do like the over 3.5 receptions for Dalton Kincaid. Slightly more than, because I was seeing that 38.5. That's our classic Kincaid number. We've seen that, and we've always tried to attack it, and it's worked out well for us for the most part. but I actually like this over 3.5 receptions. If you see on these opening drives of games, I've been scripting plays for Kincaid. It happens once in the first half, once in the second half. He's usually opening up the game with like 2 catches on the first drive. And then when you think of the Jets cornerbacks who are going to be covering these receivers, what's the best way to theoretically exploit the Jets? Using the tight ends and Josh Allen running himself. So I'm going to go with that over 3.5 receptions for Dalton Kincaid. Now let me cook up a couple same-game parlays for you guys. James Cook, he's been dealing with a little toe issue. He's got some limited practices in, but they said, he's going to play in this game. And I see that his rushing attempts are pretty damn high in a game between me and you. I think the Jets find a way to win this one. And the only reason I bring that up is because obviously if you're trailing, you're not going to be running it as much. But if the Bills are up by 10, then Cook can go over this. But we have 2 ways to hit this. Number 1, Cook's toe's a little rusty out there. And number 2, they happen to fall behind in the game where they're not just going to be running it with Cook. And I think either one of those can happen. We have 2 roads to roam on that one. I'm going to take that. I'm going to combine it with the Josh Allen over on rushing yards. It's kind of correlated in a way. If something's a little off with Cook and they don't feel good giving him a full workload, I think Allen, especially with those receivers not being able to find separation in these last couple of weeks, Allen's going to have to kind of play hero ball, do it himself. So I'm taking the over on Allen's rushing with the under on James Cook's rushing attempts. Then give me the alt over on Breece Hall's rushing with the under 3.5 receptions for old Butterfingers himself, Alan Lazard. Plus 350, not bad for a little Monday night same game parlay. Before we step onto the ice, which is a real funny place to step this time of year, how you guys doing with your money lines? Let's check in on some of these old Stanley Cup champions in recent memory. How the Florida Panthers doing? How the Stanley Cup champions doing? Yep, they just took a loss in Ottawa. They took a loss in Buffalo. Those are 2 members of the Scam 5. They just lost to them. How about Colorado Avalanche? We love betting the Avalanche, right? We got to take the Avalanche. All right, so what? They lost to Vegas. They're never going to go home and lose to Columbus. They lost to the Blue Jackets. But what about Edmonton? Surely they're not going to, after what they did last year, not going to repeat the mistakes of 2023. No way. We're going to start hot. And it's going to go straight through the Stanley Cup final. Or you're going to start 0-3 and you're going to lose to the Chicago Blackhawks, the team that drafted number 1 overall. And the very next night lost to their rival, another bottom 5 team. No, Andy, they're 3-0. They were going to make a run for the playoffs. They're nobody. It's a scam early season stretch. You know nothing.
You never had your car.
Calgary's going nowhere this year. But they beat Edmonton. This is the scam hockey. Welcome to it. It's so great. There are people who, if you put a hockey money line in a big parlay, oh my God, are you asking for the worst? Remember when I said, it doesn't just happen. I go, it's easy. Like, it's not even a difficult thing. Blackhawks went up, never looked back. The worst team in the NHL from a year ago beat the team handily. No, not some lucky the Texans, it was a fumble. They went the other way. No, they just beat the Oilers straight up easily. That's what hockey is. That's why we don't take donkey lines, a.k.a. money lines. And that's why we will sniff to try to find some good plays, which is what we're going to do here on a Monday. It's a weird Monday. I hate day games. Everybody knows this on the Patreon. It throws a wrinkle into the whole schedule. We have 2 teams I would love to see ruckus. It's got the full ruckus script potential, except Utah's inner clock is on a different time zone. It's barely noon in their head once they get into the game. The day game doesn't have those nighttime type of vibes. All day games, to me, seem like they're just duds, kind of like that Bruins-Kings game over the weekend. And while that maybe won't be the case, God, I want to just click over, but I've seen so many day games fall flat. But let's do it. We only live once. We only sniff once.
Hold on a second. I'm looking for my car keys.
There has to be a game where this Devils top line really starts to go off. And everybody's been converting. Every top line has been crushing this Utah team. Yeah, Utah is undefeated, but the Barzal line killed them. The Panarin line killed them. This is a team that is scoring, but also conceding. So you give me the Jack Hughes over 1.5 points for the New Jersey Devils, and then a little deli slice of a parlay with a Dougie Hamilton assist and over 1.5 points. So another day game we got is the Bruins hosting the Panthers, an immediate rematch from that opening night game. But this game, it's going to look different. It's going to feel different. And I think the outcome's going to be different. I'm taking the Boston Bruins to exact a little revenge in this one. You see what Florida's doing right now? Well, what's going on with them? Why did they just lose to 2 members of this Scam 5? Well, you lose Alex Barkov. That's what kind of happens to you. So 2 factors here. No Alex Barkov. Kachuk missed the last game because he was sick. I'm assuming he's going to play in this. But anytime you play a team like the Florida Panthers and you're on your own home ice, you can at least get your best line away from the Barkov line because you have last change. So the fact that you're taking away Barkov, you're getting the good looks for the Pasternak line. This sets up well. Obviously, Swayman should be in the net. They faced Korpisalo on night 1. It's going to look a little bit different. They had trouble scoring in Buffalo. They only got 2 in on Buffalo, and they didn't score much on Ottawa either. So this might be a team without Barkov that starts to struggle as they line juggle and try to find the right combinations. We will see. Panthers have a ton of good players, but remember, they had to fill in some pieces on the back end. They're still kind of getting situated over there. And I think Boston finds a way to win this one. Give me those Boston Bruins at home against the Florida Panthers. Then let's go over to Colorado, who just lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets on their own home ice. Now they're facing the Islanders. Islanders are going in there. And these Colorado Avalanche, we already know, they're missing Nichushkin, they're missing Lehkonen, they're missing Landeskog, and now you can add Jonathan Drouin. Jonathan Drouin's missing time. You think he's missing 2 or 3 games, maybe 3 or 4 games? Well, we anticipated what was going to happen the other night. Over the weekend on the Patreon, one of the top plays that I gave was Ross Colton. I think Josh brought up Ross Colton too on Twitter/X. This is classic trickle-down snakeonomics. We know that Drouin's spot is going to be given to Ross Colton. Ross Colton is also going to be on the second line with Casey Middlestat. And what did he do? 2 points in his first game. We're getting him at plus money once again. He's going to be on that top power play. He's going to be on the second line with Casey Middlestat. Great opportunity to snake a plus money point here. And that is what I got for you here on this Columbus Day Monday. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Do me a favor. Make sure you're subscribed here to my YouTube channel if you enjoy my stuff. And I only say that you should subscribe and click the notifications because sometimes this comes out at 3 in the morning. Sometimes it comes out in 3 in the afternoon. It comes out at sporadic times. So if you do want to be somebody who watches something when it comes out, click the notifications. Also, I try to cook up pretty much a parlay for every single NHL game. So I'll try to get one out for each of these games. That happens over on the Patreon. There's also a community of sniffers exchanging the wildest parlays you've ever seen in your life in all the chat rooms. I think you'll enjoy your time over there. If not, no worries. I will be back with you tomorrow for a Tuesday round of NHL Sniffs. Take it easy. I will talk to you then.